Young Savage, why you trapping so hard? Why these niggas capping so hard? Why you got a 12?
What's up guys, it's Court Marie, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you about how you can get hired at Sephora. So if you're trying to get hired at Sephora and want to find out how you can do that, then keep on watching this video. Alright guys, so I got hired at Sephora as a seasonal cashier. That's the position that I applied for. There are many different departments you can get hired at Sephora. There's fragrance, there's skincare, there's color, there's hair, and color is like the department that's going to be your makeup. So we have like Urban Decay, Kat Von D, all that kind of stuff would be like the color department, or the color world as they call it. So basically I'm going to be telling you about how you can get hired at Sephora and how I got hired. Alright, so if you guys want to get hired, I got hired as a seasonal employee, which means I'm just there throughout the major portions of the holiday. I got hired in like the end of October, and I'm starting like basically now. I started a few weeks ago, but yeah. So it continues on until like around Valentine's Day, and then after that you can choose to either like try to apply to be a regular employee there, or you can just stop working there. But who doesn't want to work at Sephora? So I mean, like, of course you guys are probably going to want to try to stay and continue on as a regular employee. But basically I have to tell you how to get hired as a seasonal employee first, or just like how to get hired in general. So I applied online, and I basically just filled out the application for a seasonal cashier. There were a lot of different positions I could have applied for, but I applied to the cashier one. And the next day, actually, I got called in for an interview. I was super excited because the Sephora that I work at now, it's not one that's inside of JCPenney, and there are a lot of different rules and regulations and stuff like that for employees that work inside JCPenney. So I'm basically going to be telling you about the Sephoras that are freestanding Sephoras, which means they are by themselves, like in a mall or something like that. Mine's inside of a mall. I won't say the location just for like my own safety, but like, yeah, it's inside of a mall. I got brought in for an interview, and it was very like relaxed. There was going to be a group interview. There were supposed to be 4 of us girls, but there ended up only being 2, and the person I was paired up with for my group interview was just applying for operations, which means she was trying to work in the back. So I personally liked that because I felt like it was to my benefit. It's not like I was competing with anyone else. I was trying to work in store, she was trying to work in the back. So I thought that was like pretty cool. I was excited about that. But basically they just brought us in. Then once we got there, everyone was really nice, of course, and they brought us in and they brought us down to like the food court, because of course we're like in a mall. And they interviewed us, and she basically just asked us, like, why would you like to work at Sephora? What do you love about Sephora? What makes Sephora different from another makeup brand or another, like, store? And then what makes Sephora different from, like, a Macy's or Nordstrom's or a Saks Fifth Avenue that also sells makeup, but instead of, like, it being a store, it's, like, at a counter? And a lot of times those people work off commission and stuff like that, so I guess that was the main purpose of asking that question, like what's different from a regular Sephora where the employees don't make commission. So yeah, we got asked that. Basically, also Sephora's more like retail. If you think about places where they work on commission, it is retail, like you're really trying to sell the stuff, but you're trying to sell it for your own benefit. Like you're trying to sell it so that you can make money and pay your bills or whatever the case may be. But at Sephora, since we don't work off of commission, we're basically trying to sell the product, but for the customer's benefit, not necessarily for ours. So we don't want to like pressure someone into getting makeup or making a purchase if it's not necessary to them. For example, if a person doesn't need concealer, we're not going to try to sell them concealer because we don't have to. Like, if they don't need it, then they shouldn't be getting it, if that makes sense. So yeah, so basically they were just trying to find out like my standpoint on retail and my experience and stuff like that. So it's actually really good to have retail experience. I've never worked at a makeup store before. like I told them, I've only worked at JCPenney for my retail experience. Every other place I've worked has been like the movies and restaurants, like as a server. So I've never worked in makeup before, which was perfectly fine with them. But the good thing is that I did work in retail, so that was super important that I had sales experience, and also being like really customer service oriented. Like, you want to make sure you say that because they like to hear that you're very much involved with the guest experience and the customer, because that's like one of Sephora's main like goals and purposes and all that stuff. Every business has like a purpose or whatever, so saying that you're very customer oriented is really important. So after I did that interview, she said that she would give us a call and she would let us know, like she would call and let us know if we were going to be invited for a second interview. So I think it was I had that interview on a Friday. She said on a Monday she would give us a call. I was going to call on Monday if they did not call me, but as I was leaving school, I got a phone call from Sephora, and they invited me in for a second interview, which was awesome, of course. So I got invited in for that interview, and I came, and it was going to be on the next, like that Friday. So every interview was on a Friday. So I got for that interview. So I guess you could say like the whole process of like actually getting hired, not orientation or anything, but actually getting hired took like 2 weeks, like basically 2 weeks, because I went in for that second interview, and this was one-on-one, and some people have it with like the store director, so the main manager, like the general manager, like as you would call it other places, but mine was with like the education director, and I loved her. Like, it was very easy to talk to her, so that really went to my advantage. I'm not able to talk to a lot of people, like having small talk, but with her it was very easy, so we were able to relate. And she just basically asked more about me and asked different scenarios and situations, like what would you do if a customer, you know, if there was no lipstick in the store and the customer really wanted this lipstick, and she called in and someone told her that we had it, stuff like that. And she also kind of got an idea of like, what's your worst guest experience and what did you do to help the guest and make the situation better, stuff like that, the obvious questions. But I definitely would try and prepare and stuff. If you can, type in on Google like Sephora interview questions or whatever, they can help. But they're all just, they're basic retail questions, like what they're going to ask if you get hired at a retail position or a retail job. So if you just look them up, because I can't remember exactly what the questions were, but just remember to be yourself and stuff like that. There was another video on YouTube. I forget what the girl's name is. If I remember, I'll link her video down below. But she was just saying, like, if they asked you, which they didn't ask me, but if they asked you, like, what are your strengths and weaknesses, always take your weakness and turn it into a strength. So use a weakness that you can make look good. So if they ask you, like, what's one of your weaknesses, you could say like, oh, I love the guests so much, and sometimes I forget that they're on a time frame, and I have to be very quick, and I have to meet good time frame and not make them be bored, and sometimes I can just talk to the guest and engage so much in the product, since I love it so much, that it can limit the time for them. So even though it's like you're saying that you're limiting time for the guest, you're also making it seem as if like you really care about the guest and the product that you're selling. So always try and turn like a weakness into a strength if you can. Also, just like saying, sometimes I can really overwork myself by picking up so many shifts, and anytime someone needs help from me, I'm always willing to do it, and sometimes that causes me to, not necessarily take care of what I need to take care of. So it's giving a weakness, but it's also like giving a strength as well. So that's like something cool that I thought that I heard that someone said. So those are like good things, but the interview is pretty much easy. Like, I wouldn't worry about that. Of course you're gonna like want to look up the questions and figure out, like, even if you want to figure out some of Sephora's history and stuff, that's also really cool. So after that interview, I got hired. They called me that next Monday and told me that I got hired. So that was amazing. Was it that Monday? It might not even been the Monday. I think it was on the Sunday they called me and told me I got hired. So that was even better because she told me it would be on Monday. So I basically, I filled out all my paperwork online, and then I had to come in for an orientation, which we had on a Saturday. And so this is into the third week now. So that next Saturday we had orientation, or it might have been Sunday. I honestly don't remember. But we had our orientation. That was really awesome and fun. Basically, we just went over Sephora's history, their values, their purposes, what we would be doing in our orientation. It seemed like most of the people that applied and got interviews got hired. That's what it seemed like to me. The girl I was with that was going to be working in the back, she got hired. And like I said, she was in operations. I was a cashier. A few other people were cashiers. Some was in, 2 were in color or something like that, which is the makeup. So we all got taught together. So they would specify certain departments based on what you were in. But for the most part, everything was pretty general. But orientation was pretty cool. We just learned a lot of stuff. Now, as a seasonal employee, the thing that's kind of sad and I was upset about is, which a lot of people were, is, you don't get to wear the little costume that the Sephora girls wear, the black and red little dress thing. So we don't get to wear that. We just have to wear black pants, black shoes, they can be boots or whatever, and a black shirt. So basically we all just have to look, all the seasonal employees have to look the same. So we can't wear the costume that they wear. And also, whenever a certain brand sometimes will have a brand rep come in and teach the other employees about a new product, and they will give them something called gratis, and gratis is free makeup that you receive for learning about the product so you can test it out. If seasonal employees don't get that, I don't know about employees at JCPenney or if their employees even get gratis or anything like that. But I actually went into a JCPenney the other day into their Sephora, and I didn't even realize that the Sephoras inside JCPenney, they only sell the high-end but lower-end brands. So they sell Urban Decay, Kat Von D, Cover Effects, all those. But at my Sephora, the freestanding Sephora, they also sell YSL, Dior, so they sell, and Chanel, they sell the higher end stuff as well. So everything just depends on the store and the location that you're working at. I've never really gone to a Sephora other than in my state, which is Indiana, so I don't really know how the Sephoras work in other states and other locations and places, but that's how it is in my state. And yeah, so I went to orientation, whatever, and that was cool. Then the next time we had to come in again, and that was cool too. It was the same stuff, more scenarios. And then just last Saturday, I had my first day, and I was really excited. The thing is, I never got trained on the cash register or anything like that. So my first day, I was working a 6-hour shift, and I had never even been on the cash register. But literally, I just watched another girl do it about 3 customers in. I already knew how to do it. The buttons are easy, returns are easy, everything was really easy. And everyone I work with is so sweet, so nice. I'm sure they're like that at all Sephoras. They were willing to help me. It was no problem. So I really enjoyed that. And then we had a little holiday meeting, and they gave us food, and we did different scenarios and games and stuff like that, so get to know each other. So it's not hard at all to get hired at Sephora. What I would say the most is be yourself. Let them know that you love makeup, but don't just focus on makeup, because clearly if you're applying to Sephora, you probably love makeup. So does everyone that works there. So try and branch out and make yourself a little bit different. Of course, say you like Sephora, but say, you really want to satisfy the guests, you like making people feel beautiful. All that kind of stuff that adds on to the makeup is going to help you to get hired. And then another thing I did that I think helped me as well is, if you say that you have a YouTube channel, which they really like. Like, they would ask me questions about my YouTube channel, or if you say, maybe you say you have an Instagram that's focused on makeup, or a Twitter that's focused on makeup, Tumblr, whatever, like, they're really gonna like things, because it just lets them know, like, oh, this person doesn't just like makeup, like, they want to play in makeup, but they have a passion for makeup, they care about makeup. So I would add that in too if you have any type of social media, or even if you have like makeup looks that you've done, especially if you're applying for color, which is working in the makeup department. If you have like looks of yourself that you've done, like, I would pull them up on your phone. All the meetings and interviews were very relaxed, not relaxed as in like I can wear jeans or whatever, but just the questions they were asking, it wasn't very tense and serious. It was really fun and engaging. So if you have pictures you can show of the makeup you've done on not just yourself but like other people, I would definitely like say to show them that and just let them know that you're interested in makeup beyond Sephora and it's like something you have a passion for. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about getting hired. After I do my seasonal thing, I will let you guys know, and I will update on, you know, how to get hired as a full-time employee if I'm able to do that. So keep on looking out for that, and I'm going to be filming a lot more videos. I know that I've been really slacking on videos lately. I've just been so involved and focused on school, so I'm really going to get back into that. So keep watching out for my videos, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Young Savage, why you trapping so hard? Why do you niggas cap?